Hi, I'm George Pearson, and in this Photoshop fonts download video, I'll be showing you how I find my fancy fonts that I use in my projects for both Photoshop and Photoshop Elements, and I'll also show you how you install those on your computer system. Now, if you enjoy this video, make sure you click the like button and also subscribe to my channel. If you want to learn a lot more about Photoshop, take a look at my complete training, and you'll find a link for that in the description. Okay, let's get to it. When I'm working on a Photoshop project like this one, where it may need a special typeface, there are really kind of two different ways I approach this. The first one is I may have an idea of what I want, and then I'll try to see if there's a typeface that matches that idea. The other one is I don't really have a clear idea of what I want, but I have kind of an idea for a basic theme or maybe for a season, and I'll then go and take a look through some fonts online and see what matches that season. Maybe that will give me some ideas on a new project. Now, when I do a search for fonts, I normally go to a site called Dafont Com. Let me just bring that up right here. Here we go. It's Dafont.com. Now, you can register and log in if you want to, but you don't have to. You can use this without any registration at all. And there are loads and loads and loads of fonts. This is your main font kind of categories in here. Fancy fonts, foreign look, techno, bitmap, Gothic, basic, script, dingbats. These are your image fonts, and some holidays over here. When you do a search for fonts, you'll get a list down below, as you can see here. All kinds of fancy stuff. And there's, of course, they have some ads on their channel as well to help pay for the channel. Now, let's say I was looking for this font here, or something similar to it. I'll try fancy first. I know it's a cartoon style font, so look in cartoon. Click on the main category. And then before I go any further than that, I want to make sure it's a font that I don't need to pay for. So if you come right down here, right below where it says fancy cartoon, there's a little section here. You can type in your own text for a preview if you want to. You can show how many fonts you want displayed up per page. Show variants or not, the size of the image, sort by popularity, name or newest first, and there's more options. Here's where you want to look. Look at more options, and in here you can choose to only look at public domain files, or 100% free, or free for personal use, or donationware, or shareware. A lot of these fonts in here have a cost to them or a shareware cost to them. A lot of them, they only want to allow you to use these for personal use. So what I usually do is I'll just click on 100% free. I'll uncheck public domain because a lot of these will still come up as public domain, or they don't have any unreasonable rights attached to them. They may want to have their name mentioned if you use the font. That's not a big deal. So I go for the 100% free, then click on submit, and it redoes the list. Then it's merely a matter of scrolling down and finding the font that you want to use. There's all kinds of fun things in here. You could think of some great possible projects for these, and there's the one that I used. It happens to be called Ice Age, which makes it real easy. Now, when you get to this point, you can look at the actual font itself by clicking on the name right here. Just click on that. It takes us right to the page for that font, and here you can see all of the characters in the font. Upper and lowercase, notice that they are the same. There's no difference in size or shape, upper and lowercase on this one. It has the numbers and a couple of other little things in here as well, and a few foreign variations also, because it's kind of fun. It has a lot of stuff. So once you have decided you want to use this font, take a look over here to see if there is any additional comments. They'll tell you right in this area if it's shareware or if it has any rights attached to it, things like that. That'll be listed up in here. You can click where it says 100% free to find out more about what that means. And you also can find out more about the person or company who uploaded the font right down here. Now, a lot of the fonts you'll find here on Dafont.com are samples uploaded by companies where they'll put a few sample fonts up online. If you like what they have, they hope that you'll go and buy some of their other fonts from their company. So there's a lot of great stuff here because of that. So let's click on the name. Brings up a little bit about this designer. There's the profile. One font up here, that's all we have. Let's look at the profile. View profile. There we go. Not a whole lot in here. There's just a link to their email address if you want to go ahead and contact them. Send them a private message. So if there is anything attached to this, copyright notations, things like that, we would have found it by now. So let's go ahead and just go back to Ice Age right there, and then we'll download the font. Just click on download, and this will bring up a download dialog box. There we go. Now I always save my fonts into a folder that I have called fonts here. I also have one for Photoshop specifically, one for Elements specifically. More general fonts I'll just stick in here. Simply save the file, click on save. I've already saved this one, and it's right down, let me find that, right down there. There's the zip file for this folder. So you can go ahead and save right there. Save to your location. Again, I've already done that, so I don't need to do the save, but just click on save, or then save that to your computer. Now once you have that saved, let me bring up that dialog box here again. This is the actual folder. What you then need to do is to unzip this file. On most computers, if you right-click this, you'll be able to unzip this someplace. Here's an extract all option in Windows to go ahead and unzip that. It then unzips it to a folder. Open the folder up, double-click on the folder, opens it up, and right here is the typeface. This is a TrueType font typeface. If there are any additional things, the author may include a copyright notice or instructions or the link they want you to have if you're using the font, things like that, that will be in a separate file in here. Again, nothing on this one, so this one's okay to use. To install this, it's basically the same for most computers. Just right-click and you'll find an install here. This is on Windows. Just click install. It then installs that typeface into your computer. But take a look at the name. Make sure you memorize that name because you'll need to have the name when you look for the typeface in your font list. Okay, so it's that easy to find these fonts. Let's go back here to the home page again. I'll do a little search. Let's say I'm thinking of doing something which I actually am beginning to toy with right now. I'm thinking about doing something for Halloween as we're approaching that season. So I want to find something that would go along with Halloween. Now, there are a few options down here. We have a horror category. Let's look at the options in here. Make sure that 100% free is checked and public domain is not checked, and submit. You can then just go through and see what's available and see if any of this gives me any ideas for making a Halloween card or a Halloween poster. There are quite a few there I actually can think of some stuff on. But I wouldn't stick with just that. I look at other stuff as well. For instance, decorative might have something interesting in it. Some techno kind of things happening in there. That's a possibility. Also take a look at the very bottom. All of these as the last option is a various section. And it's kind of a grab bag, miscellaneous in there. Some things that will match different possible techniques. There's kind of a fun one if you're doing something more architectural, possibly. It has kind of a drawn look to that. Again, lots of interesting ideas in here. But again, if I'm thinking Halloween, don't look at just this. You may find other stuff elsewhere, possibly over here. Under the foreign look, might be something which might work out interestingly. Or under the various section. Or over here, under techno, sci-fi possibly, or various, might find some interesting things in here. And of course, under Gothic, we have the medieval. Should have some good stuff. Would work out for Halloween in there. And also on the various on that as well. So lots of possibilities in here if I'm doing something for Halloween. Lots of things I can go ahead and search and find a font that will fit my needs. Your more regular stuff is over here on the right hand side, your basic and your script. This is sans serif and serif. There's your calligraphy and there's your handwritten effects. And you'll find things in here like chalkboard effects, things like that. Lots of fonts. Now the fonts over here, this little section here called dingbats, these are image fonts. They're not lettering. They may have some lettering in them, but they're image fonts. Let's take a look at just a couple of these. Click on Alien There we go, just lots of pictures inside of these fonts. You can use these for all kinds of great clip art. Just put that in and then apply effects onto it, and you then have some very nice instant artwork, all done here as typeface. So there it is. That's how you use this. Again, I almost always go to www.dafont.com whenever I'm looking for a typeface, and I always look at 100% free, and then once I take a look through these, I see if they have anything in the font with copyright notices, things like that, and I'll pay attention to that before I go ahead and use the font. Okay, so we've done all that. Once you have saved the font to your computer, you've unzipped it, you've installed it, you then need to find it. Now, if you had Photoshop open, make sure you close Photoshop down and then reopen it, or it won't find that font. It has to go in and read the fonts when it opens up. So let's go over here and switch over to the text tool, type tool right there, and there you can see that little insertion bar. So now we can take a look through the font list up here and find the font. Now, of course, it's the last one that I use, so it's on the top of my recently used list, but we know it's called Ice Age, so simply scroll down. Okay, I'll use the wheel now. We're pretty close. I'll use the wheel just to scroll down, and there we go. There's the Ice Age font right there. So that's it. That's how I go about finding fonts when I need a specialty font for one of my art projects. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it useful. If you like this video, click on the like button below to let others know. You can click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos in the future. I'm frequently uploading new training videos. Don't forget to check out my website at howtogurus.com.